Wendy, you ready? Everybody ready? Call this meeting of Newberry Township Board of Supervisors to order. Let it stand and do the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We had an executive session tonight, mostly pertaining to personnel issues. That's what the session was about tonight. Okay, moving on to public comments. All public comments shall be delivered from the podium by registered individuals, residents, or taxpayer. Time allotted for an agenda matter is 5 minutes, otherwise 3 minutes for a non-agenda matter. Excuse me. A copy of the public meeting policy is available for your convenience. So under that, Mr. Gaswint, you're up.
Mr. Bob?
Thank you.
Redland Senior Center, I'm back to give you an update on our progress of our fundraising. I provided a press release that was left again today and gives you an idea where we are, including donations received, pledges, loans. We're at 70% of our goal. Obviously, we'd rather not have to go to the loans, because once we get in, we're going to have a number of things that we're going to have to do and provide funds for. We have a schedule for the bathroom and the kitchen renovations and new flooring. We do need a contractor. We're looking for a contractor that will be able to install an automatic door for us. Just a single automatic door. I've made a couple inquiries and haven't had any luck up to this point. So if anyone knows a contractor that would do that, please put them in touch with us. We yesterday picked up a $20,000 amount from an individual that really has no direct connection to us, has moved to Florida, and we have worked with him for the past 10 plus years on, at some point, being able to support. So, and that wasn't his only donation of 20,000. We got 10,000 from the York County Community Foundation. That we applied out of cycle, so we felt very fortunate to be able to pick that up. We even had a couple $1,000 stock donation, which was completely new to us. If at any point, I know we're not in a budgeting time for you folks, but if at any point you would be able to contribute to the building part of it, we absolutely would appreciate that. I will be going to Fairview next week to give that same ploy to them. We also, I don't know if you saw it, but Carmen, our director, and myself were on Good Day PA a week ago at the 10 o'clock program in the morning. Gave a little blip there. On the Give Local York, we had a very successful year. The Redland Senior Center ended up number 21 out of 321 nonprofits in York County, which, you know, we are a small operation compared to some others. And we, in fact, almost doubled our donors over last year. So we're getting community support, which I've said all along is very important. And then finally, we were able to get a 50-50 split at the racetrack on Saturday night. So every little bit helps, believe me. So, do you have, yeah, I know. I just got to my item number 8. Any questions? June 6th is our deadline for raising monies. And we will make it. I will tell you, we will make it.
Good.
Okay, thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Next
Bob-
up,
Bob, I would donate my time and miscellaneous materials to install that door for you.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Are you gonna call me or should I call you?
Probably best if you call me.
I'll do that.
Deb,
Thank you.
Pop.
Hello. Hello. Deb Pop, 287 Garriston Road. I just have questions about the Knox box or the key box. One of our tenants got a letter and brought it down to us. And I spoke to some other business people around. They're pretty much ignore it, let it go. My thing is, I'd like more information on this. Your letter doesn't state how much this cost. The Knox Volt box is $874. That doesn't include installing it. And I was hoping maybe a fire chief or something would be here because I'd like to know, what do they do with a totally blocked building?
That's what that's for, so they have access to it. If you have an
There's
alarm
a-
system or something,
Okay,
they're just gonna,
there's a big picture window there. There's a door there. What's the window?
that's
there's
your
a fire-
that's
if-
your prerogative, but the
Well,
idea
it's
is
not our
to,
prerogative if you're gonna fine us.
the,
They're gonna show, it says right in here that if we don't follow this, we're in violation.
Mhm.
Could be charged with a summary offense, up to $1,000 fine, and up to 90 days in jail. That's not an option. I mean, that's just, who
Well-
decided this? This happened back in 2022. This is 25. What did it take so long before even leaving businesses know this was in the works?
well, like you said, it was approved, I believe, in 2022. We're now trying to get it implemented the whole way. Here on the island of Newberry, you need to understand, Knox boxes have been around for more than 40 years. They're just now making it to the island, and we're trying to just get into, make it easier for our fire department and our police departments to gain access to a building in an emergency if they have to. If you want them to take the wind out, okay, it's going out. But, up until this point, what we do is if a fire department's called or a police officer's called to your establishment, okay, they have to sit around and wait for somebody to come and unlock the door for them. So you live in a township, and I get it. But say the people here at the hardware store, or not the hardware store, the Sherwin-Williams store, Olivia lives in Carlisle. So are they supposed to, they're not going to sit around and wait for them anymore.
Okay.
This is the opportunity for you to do that. If you don't want to do it, it is what it is.
So,
I
Deb,
mean, we have a supervisor saying that they're not going to do it, so I
I
don't,
look at our mom and pop garage
and I
a
understand that.
lot different than the Sherwin-Williams or the Walmart or something like that.
And again, if you don't have a problem with them ripping the front door off because they have to get in there, okay,
But Dave,
But
my
then,
garage has glass doors all the way around. You can
they'll
go
take them
straight
out.
through it.
They'll take them out.
I was gonna say,
They're
If
go-
you don't see a
The
fire, why would you
business
knock your
owner-
window out?
the ones that have the business up
Not
there
all fires are
on the
visible
board,
from the windows.
Are you doing it?
you guys are talking. I can't understand. I can't hear what she's saying.
I said, the ones of you that have businesses up there. Are you doing it?
I'm not.
I am. Yeah.
Plus, I live beside the house. I live beside the garage. There's always somebody there.
So do my parents, and my son lives across the street.
Correct. And then I got glass
So-
windows the whole way through the garage. You look straight through it.
But the problem, Claire, is you voted for this.
I know, but I didn't realize we were all going to be forced to do it. I thought it was just going to be ones that. The problem came when you have a.
The industry.
No, when you have a fire alarm and it goes off accidentally, and the fire company gets just standing waiting for the fire company or for somebody to unlock the door to find out what's wrong. I don't have a fire system, so no one's calling you. And your dad and their properties beside, they probably don't have a fire alarm either. So no one's calling in the middle of the night and saying, hey, my house is on fire, my garage is on fire. I need an Knox box key to open up and find out if it is or not.
But
So if you have that issue, then you should get that box. I agree with Dave on that. But me, I live beside my garage. You see straight through with glass windows. And the bottom garage don't have garage doors on it.
I'm not real up on this Knox box, but I had a couple calls from businesses concerned about it. So I've had things explained to me. If I explain it wrong, correct me. The intent is, like they said, just so they're not breaking your building. If there's a fire call, they get dispatched, and maybe there is a fire that they can't visibly see, but there's been an alarm. I mean, I'm putting a new building up down here. I don't want them waiting for me to show up or busting my window and my doors out. I mean, the box is, would you say it's an $800 investment?
Well, 900.
Okay, it's not,
Plus-
as far as installing it all, it's just getting bolted to a wall, right? It's not really any major installation.
Well, from the research that I approve all the Knox box requests that come in. The Knox box that is approved to be mounted to the exterior of the wall, don't quote me, but I believe it comes to 565 something. The Knox box vault that you would actually cut into the brick that has the option of attaching to the fire alarm system or burglar alarm system or whatever system you have within your facility, I believe is the $800 one. But every single one that I've approved, and I believe it's been 18, is around $565.
Okay.
Around that, it's in the 560 range with tax.
Okay, if you go on, and it says in here that the box shall be Knox Volt and approved in writing. They won't accept the other ones, it says.
They must be accepting some because I've approved 18 of them. Is there a Knox Volt 5200 or 52 something?
There's the 4,000, that's the Volt, and then there's regular Knox box.
Yeah, the Knox box.
That's the 3,200, that's the $500 one.
Right, that's the one that primarily everyone in the township has
So
requested.
they're allowing
Knox.
that, even though it says on here it has to be the Knox Volt.
I believe a Knox box is a Knox box, to be honest with
Okay.
you. The primary reason is, like they said, if there's an incident within your facility, rather than the fire department's waiting or busting a door to get in your facility, they're using the key to get in. And I can explain how that key system works to let the public at ease. So each fire truck within the township, Newberry, Station 31, Goldsboro, Station 28, and York Haven, Station 27. Prior to 2022, each fire department had a different Knox box and Knox box key. So if York Haven responded into Newberry Township, which they have primary jurisdiction, and there was a business that had a Knox box, their key would not open that up. When they combined into the Department of Public Safety, they came underneath one umbrella, so everyone's key is the same. So, speaking about the key, within each fire truck is a Knox box key, let's call it a receiver. And that receiver is up front, usually in the center, between the driver and the passenger. They're mounted in several different locations based upon whatever the fire truck's makeup is and what equipment is up there. The only individuals that can release that key are individuals that the fire chief authorizes to have access to that, and everybody has their own individual PIN number. So once they're assigned a PIN number, they type in the PIN number, they contact county and said, we're unlocking the Knox box. They release the key, they go over to your Knox box, they open the Knox box up and get the keys to your facility that you placed in there. And then once they're done, they place your keys back, they take the Knox box key, lock the vault back, and they put it back in the fire department rig. Which is visibly seen, like you can tell if the key is not there. Plus, there's a light, I believe, that flashes. Is it Jason? The light flashes when the key's released. That's how it is. So, and those PIN numbers, or whoever released that key at any apparatus within the township, myself and the lieutenant have access to see who released the key at any point in time, because we type in the access numbers that we were provided by the fire department for each individual person. Prior to that, going to this system and the township paying for the Knox boxes for each fire apparatus, there were certain fire departments that had a generalized code to unleash that particular key. So a member, a current member, a former member, people that didn't have access, maybe they were junior firefighters, if they knew the code, they got in and there was no way to track it. When they upgraded to this system, now there's a way to track it. Everybody has an individual code. And if someone leaves the fire department, that code is removed so they do not have access if they by chance came out on the street and happened to come upon a fire truck. Not that anybody would do that, but we removed their numbers from the system.
And another thing to go with the Knox box is in the Knox box, you can place in the Knox box. If you have a hazardous materials area where you're storing paint or something like that, they at least know where they're headed to when they know where it's at, rather than some guy going in and getting hurt but you know, that's one of the advantages of the Knox box.
Dave.
You can show in different areas of the building where you might have a hazardous materials or maybe a pit, a floor pit. Like a lot of old garages had just a wooden pit that a guy's gonna fall 8, 9, 7 feet down in a hole, so. Just different odds and ends information that can be put into that Knox box to help protect the guys that are running in your building, so that's all I have to say on it.
Yeah,
Okay.
the Knox box I have in my building, it has important information in it, where my hazardous chemicals are, and it also has a USB drive for them to pull up any information. Because top priority is their safety. You know, when it comes down to it, they don't know what they're coming into. They just see a block building, I got windows and everything else, but they have no idea. So I make sure all that information's in there for their safety, because I'd rather them stay out of it than do something that could cause them more harm than good.
How many of these letters went out?
I can't give you that answer. I know that they were typed up, given to township personnel as well as the paid/driver operators to be dispersed to all the businesses within the township. And I believe there's a master list that's being kept up to Township Administration Office by Donna,
Okay,
I believe.
all right.
So we could get you that number if it's important to you.
I'd like to know, yeah. So,
I'll
all right,
find out. Okay.
thanks.
Yep.
Thanks.
Steve Toomey.
Steve Toomey, 160 Craigmore Road, York Haven, PA. Good evening, Board. I have two questions. First one is an agenda item on new business items E and F. They're kind of tied at the hips. Motion to remove First Capital Engineering as Township SEO, and then F is appoint Brant Fink as Township SEO. Question is this a contract situation, or is this an employee situation?
It's an appointment.
Appointment.
Yes.
So no contract involved.
No.
Okay. And what was behind this? Why are we
Lots and lots of complaints.
lots and lots of complaints?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Second item is maybe I missed it last month, but when is the public meeting for the sewer extension on Cly Road going to be? Did I miss that? I may have. I know you talked about it, but I didn't know if a date was set.
Thursday, July 26th at 6 p.m. at the fire company.
Okay, because I didn't see anything out public notice yet.
You said July.
June, sorry. If I said July, I apologize.
June 26th.
June
He's
26th.
trying to hurry things along.
At the
Firehouse.
Firehouse, yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
A
I haven't,
letter has been drafted for all the affected residents, and that will be going out hopefully this week. So it'll be about 120 some letters Don is currently working on. 6 o'clock.
6 p.m.
okay, thank you.
Ed Osterner. I'm pretty sure I messed that all up. Okay, that's good. So you knew who I was referring to, right?
Ed Ostrander, 35 Rolling Hills Court, Edders. This is old business that I don't see show up in any of our signed minutes. First of all, is there any action going forward concerning the township manager who was at the time in January, and I understand all the events that's taken place since then, but there was to prepare a request for a proposal of bids for the comprehensive plan study. And we haven't, as the planning member of the planning commission, haven't heard or seen anything come forward concerning that. So that would be something that perhaps has slipped because of our personnel issues, but I'd like to make sure that you keep that on the list to do.
It's still on the list of things to get done.
All right. In the February, I noticed that the storytelling marketing was given a 60-day trial. I remember when we were here and we voted on that. However, I haven't seen anything concerning the 60 days is up. Were they extended? Did you grant them a contract? Did you terminate it?
Yeah, that ended with a little less than 60 days. That ended.
So it's ended.
We've taken control back over our Facebook and website.
Okay. Also in the March, there was a comment that was put that the IPMC board tabled for 1 month, but I don't see it on the April or May agenda. Just an item that I picked up that you said you were going to table it, and I believe, Dave, you were the one that said let's table that one for a month, and is that just another item that fell through the crack?
That did fall through the crack.
Hope, glad I brought it up then.
Okay, we'll look into that again.
Okay, that's all I have.
All right, thanks.
Thanks.
Oh, Dave Parsons?
Good evening, board, residents. Dave Parsons, 200 Whiting Hill Drive. The Planning Commission is looking for interested people to fill vacancies. Now, what is the Planning Commission? Well, we're a group of people up to 7. You got to be, first of all, you got to be a township resident. And we're advisory body to the Board of Supervisors. We receive minor and major subdivision plans for review and to make recommendations on their approval to the supervisors. Now, subdivision could be as simple as a plot where you're moving a lot line, or it could be a complex as a warehouse or an apartment building. So we use the subdivision and land development ordinances and zoning ordinances as our guide when reviewing a plan. So what's the requirements for a planning commission member? Well, you must be a township resident. And also, like any volunteer, like the people sitting up here, zoning board, planning commission, you must be interested. What that means is, it's like anything else. You do the work, you do the homework, and whatever's important. So what occurs prior to a meeting? Well, prior to a meeting, we get an email stating that plans are here, actually in the other building, from Jeremy. And what I do is when I get a plan, whether it's 1 page, could be a sketch plan, or it could be a 40-some page plan, I go through it and write down any questions. There, I use Google Maps for the location. I've found out more streets since I've been on planning commission, so it's very helpful. I drive to the property to look at it. That's also, because you get a better idea. You can go on Google Maps, but you look at the property, see what's involved, it's good. Also check the plans for any accuracies or omissions. That happens, we're all human, sometimes it happens. And then also check out the waiver. Now, a waiver is a hardship that the applicant doesn't want to follow. not saying that it's a hardship, but in their mind, they don't want to follow the ordinance. Participation in a meeting by asking a question. So what I do is prior to our meeting, I write down any questions, and you're going to have people like we sit up there, but the audience will be could be an engineer, traffic study person, attorney, the applicant themselves, and let's see.
You got
You know,
30 seconds.
Oh, okay. During our meeting, and there's, if we don't have a meeting every month, but it is second Monday of each month. And you know what? I'll just in closing, I feel it's important to ask questions and participate because the reason why I got involved is because you want to give back to your community. It's important, just like anybody sitting up there. You feel that not necessarily that your way is the best way, but you're always looking. One thing I always keep in mind, you always keep the township residents in mind, and it's very important. So we have a couple vacancies, so you can talk to me after meeting or anybody watching.
How many vacancies do you have?
Right now, 2.
2? Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And you can go onto our website. There's volunteer applications on the website. Just fill that out, and the board will make an appointment.
Is it advertised on Facebook and the website that we need to?
I just emailed Wendy to remind me to get another post up to remind people we're still looking for 2 more.
Thanks,
Andrew?
Dave.
That's pronounced Gonzalez, 140 Oak Road, Brookhaven. Yeah, not to be confused with Rodriguez. Thank you, Dave. I always appreciate your sincere effort for our community, and you work tirelessly, Mr. Parsons, for our community, and it's greatly appreciated. Thank you. So I feel like I haven't been here in forever. I want to thank all those that did support me for my candidacy for school board. The good news is now I have all the extra time in the world to come back to the township meetings and to participate and to be a tireless supporter of our dear police department, our fire department, and our Recs department. I have a question. It was stated in one of the prior meetings about the payment for the former township manager being around $60.10 an hour at 8 hours a day. And it was stated that his last month's pay was for 30 days. You guys didn't sincerely pay someone for Saturdays and Sundays throughout the month, I'm hoping. I'm hoping his severance pay, or however you classified that it was for 5 days a week, work week, like normal people get paid. Is that correct?
That would be my.
Yeah,
Okay.
it would have been the,
I just wanted to clarify that, because it was stated that you guys paid him for like 30 days or something, like $14,000 or something. It's outrageous.
He's a salaried employee. He was paid
Right,
the
but,
salary.
so that's what he averaged, but that would be ish, if you
Yeah.
leveled that out, it's 5 days a week, not 7, correct?
Correct.
Okay, that's what I assumed. Thank you.
Okay, that's all I have signed up. Is there any more? Okay, moving on. I'm looking for a motion to approve the minutes for the April 22nd, 2025 meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from April 22nd.
I'll second that.
Comments or questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Moving on, we have no land development or subdivision plans, so we're going to move on. Next is report, Public Safety Chief.
Yes, we'll start with the public safety report first. I have nothing to add as far as factual data, other than I wanted to make the public aware that Station 31 does have that's Newburytown, has a chicken barbecue on June 21st, bingo on June 6th, and June 20th, and they currently have an open raffle where the top prize is $1,000, and that ends August 26th. I also want to make the public aware of the Community Connect app. We were planning on unleashing this at the event that was supposed to take place last month, or was it this month? That got rained out. I did put some flyers over there for Community Connect. Essentially, Community Connect, it's this flyer that's over there. This is an app that is part of the program that the fire departments utilize, And what the Community Connect app does is allows property residents, single dwelling residents, as well as commercial properties, to go onto this website, which is a secure website, and enter in their data, emergency contact information. Let's say it's a residence. They could say, I have, a wife, a spouse, and 2 children that live here. Say one of the children's special needs, put in what special needs they actually have, how many pets you have. It's all information that you can put in. You're not, like, if you choose to answer some questions and not all of them, that's fine. It allows you to put in if you have an outdoor fuel tank that the fire department should know about it. Anything that you would like the fire departments to be able to know when they respond to your house, you can place in this app. And what happens is when the fire departments respond to your location, let's say there's a fire there or an emergency there, they can click on their iPad that's within their rig and click on that address. And if you had filled this information out, they can see, okay, I know there's a wife and 2 children that live there, and one of the children's deaf. So we need to be aware of that if we're responding to an emergency there, whether it's a fire or carbon monoxide or whatever. So just wanted to make you aware of this Community Connect app. There are some flyers out there. It is also on our website. It's as easy as taking your phone and taking a picture of the QR code, clicking on that, it takes you right to that website. You put in username, password, and then whatever information that you'd like to give the fire departments would be great.
You can also list any disability, people with
Correct.
Okay.
Disabilities,
So you know there's
special needs.
Yeah, special needs app.
Again, this is one of the things to help bring the island of Newberry up to the 20th century by helping our fire departments having a rough idea before they get there as to what they're may possibly encounter when they get there. Same with our police departments. If they have an idea ahead of time, it makes their job a whole lot easier and safer. Okay.
And there's one item that I actually did miss. There is a button on there that if you're in need of a smoke detector, the fire departments do have some smoke detectors that brand new that they will come out and install in your house. But so there is a button that you can click on there to request a smoke detector, and they can make arrangements with you to come out and install that in your house. So that's one of the options underneath Community Connect as well. And then on to the police report. For the month of April, we handled 1,090 calls. We had 2 aggravated assaults, 11 thefts, 4 drug offenses, 9 DUIs, 7 simple assaults, 1 sexual assault, 1 harassment, and 15 all other offenses. They investigated 1,040 other calls, including 16 domestics, 20 traffic accidents. They issued 75 traffic citations, 141 warnings, 13 non-traffic citations, and made 30 misdemeanor and/or felony arrests. The only additional thing that I'd like to add to the police report is with the weather becoming nicer out, more people are out and about. It's been brought to our attentions, and I didn't place this on the website or Facebook yet, but it's been brought to our attention that several individuals are starting to operate golf carts, go-karts, and even the 4-wheel battery-operated, I don't know what you want to classify them, the ones that the little kids drive around, but they're actually driving them and operating them on the roadway. So we need to be very, very careful, not only as motorists, because we don't know what's around that corner. We're not expecting one of those vehicles to be on the roadway. But I also want to make it known that it's illegal to operate those vehicles on the roadway. The only vehicle that could possibly fall into a classification are called low-speed vehicles, and some golf carts actually meet this criteria. However, in order to meet that criteria, they have to be titled, they have to have insurance, they need to be registered within Pennsylvania. So I want to make that aware. We are going to be putting that out. It's mostly a concern inside small neighborhoods and developments where, children are sometimes unsupervised riding these vehicles, if you want to call them, in the middle of the road. And we don't want someone to become tragically hurt. And So I'm bringing this to everybody's attention that's here today. We're gonna actually put something out on social media and the website to bring it to everyone's attention. But I just wanted to let everybody know today that, just be careful. They shouldn't be on there, but you never know what's going to be on the roadway. And that's the only thing I have to add to my report.
Okay.
Okay, solicitor's report, James.
Nothing to add my report.
Bill, engineer's report.
Nothing to add.
Jane, treasurer. Scott, highway. Brent, sewer. Jeremy, building. We don't have a manager at this time. So at this point, I would like to publicly thank Aaron Swartz for all the work he's done, trying to do his business that he has and assuming most of the manager's duties, along with, some other people, but Aaron's kind of taking the lead on that, so I'd like to publicly acknowledge him for that. Next, we'll move on to the supervisor's report. Rob?
I just have a question for Scott. But do you get a hold of anyone at?
I talked to the foreman for Frontier. They sent somebody out to investigate that early this morning. Nothing been done with it yet?
Well, there's been a truck sitting there all day long with the lights flashing, but there was a pole knocked over on Potts Hill Road.
Wow.
Frontier pole that was knocked over on Saturday, blocking one lane. All weekend it was like that.
Just since Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh, they rushed right out.
And
That's quick for them if they were there all day today.
So I know Frontier is not the most responsive, but I guess we have no.
Cut the
nothing we can
wire
do
and
about
move
that.
on.
I mean, it was right on a bed.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Take a truck and rip it off, say, whoops, sorry, have a nice day.
Okay, but you did contact someone today.
I talked to the guy, yeah, and then,
Okay.
Eric Johnston texted me later in the morning and said there was a Frontier guy there to survey it, so.
Okay.
If they got a guy sitting there with the lights on, they're probably waiting on Hinkle McCoy to come and replace it.
It's amazing no one hit it where it's at. It's on a bad corner and like blocking one lane totally. But okay.
Diane, you got anything?
I do. I just want to bring everybody's attention that we now have a Parks and Recs board, and they meet every second Tuesday of every month. And we also have a Facebook page. So follow them. They have a lot of exciting things that are going to be happening, and we have a Volunteers Day. What is that date, June 8th? From 2 to 4 over at Dolan Park. So if anybody is interested in volunteering your time for a couple hours, it's cleanup day.
Mr. Swartz?
Nothing at this time.
Mr. Winnemeyer?
Nothing, Dave.
Okay, with all that being done, we're going to move on to old business, which there's none. New business, Steve Rock is here to do a 2024 audit report. And I'll mess that name up real bad, so you just go tell everybody who you are.
So, hello, my name's Steve Rock. This is Garrett Hudak. We are from Zelenkowski Axelrod, ZA for short. We performed the audit for Newberry Township. I believe this is the 4th year. We started our audit in February, issued our report last Tuesday, I believe. With our audit report, we provided you, the board, 3 deliverables. One of which is our kind of communication to the board. This letter really kind of explains kind of what the process of our audit was and if we had any findings. Our really responsibility when it comes to the financial statements is to obtain reasonable assurance that the financial statements are free of material misstatement. It's not absolute assurance. There's nothing, we're not doing an in-depth forensic audit. We are just kind of auditing the books and doing performing testing to just make sure that the amounts of the trial balances are reasonable. But in that letter, we really did not have anything to really communicate of any note to the board. When it comes to actually the report itself, our opinion, we provided a clean opinion on the financial statements. The financial statements were presented fairly in all material respects. the financial position of the township. There, like I said, there was really no findings that we had when it came to the financial statements. We did have one thing that we do want to note, though. We did provide you a second letter, and this is really if we had any deficiencies when it came to internal controls. We do want to note that you do we do have an issue when it comes to segregation of duties. Jane kind of prepares a lot of the bank reconciliations. She does a lot of the preparation of the checks. She performs the entering of everything kind of into your financials. So we just want to make the board aware to continue to be involved in the review process when it comes to your financial transactions. With that, I'm going to kind of turn it over to Garrett to kind of give you a really brief explanation of the financial data.
All right, so I'm just going to do a quick review of the financial statements and then look at some of the footnotes. So on page 4, looking at the statement of net position, also want to point out that these statements are reported on the modified cash basis of accounting. So looking at the statement of net position, governmental activities, you have $9.8 million in total assets, about $300,000 in total liabilities, giving you a $9.5 million in total net position. For business type assets, you have 10.7 in total, 10.7 million in total current assets, about 31,000 in total liabilities, and that is 10.7 million in your total net position for business type assets. The next page, looking at the statement of activities, modified cash basis for the year ended December 31st, 2024. We're looking at the revenues and expenses. So for governmental activities, there is $7.2 million in expenses for the year ended December 31st, 2024. Under program revenues, $850,000 charges for service revenue, and $1.4 million coming from operating grants and contributions, and an additional $7 million in total general revenues. For business type activities, total expenses of $1.8 million and total revenues of $3.4 million. 300 of that coming from total general revenues and $3 million from charges for service. On the next page, we're looking at the balance sheet for the governmental funds. We're going to focus on the general fund since that is the largest and most important fund of the township. General fund has about $8 million in total assets, about 300 in total liabilities, and that's a fund balance of about 7.7 million. And then jump into the statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance for the general fund. Total revenues in 2024 was about 8.1 million. Total expenditures about 6.5 million, and total other financing sources was about $300,000, giving you a net change in fund balance of about 2 million. And then I'm going to jump to page 11, which is a statement of fiduciary net position. And this just shows that there's total assets related to pension of about 12.1 million. And then on the next page, you can see the changes in the year of those total assets, which was total additions of 1.6 million and total deductions of about 900,000. And I do want to cover just a few footnotes in the statements. Some important ones are related to liabilities of the township. As this township does report their statements on a modified cash basis, these liabilities aren't reported on the statements, so it's important to have these in the footnotes as well. So page 24 shows total general long-term debt. So total liability for the general obligation note at year end was about 3.7 million and 400,000 for compensated absences liabilities as of year end. And then for business type activities, the liability at year end related to the general obligation bond was about 1.1 million. The next notes I want to go to is on page 28, note 7, is related to the police pension plan. The total liability relating to pension employees was about 12.2 million and a net pension liability of 2.3 million. And on page 34, we have the non-uniform pension plan. So the total pension liability relating to non-uniform employees was 2.9 million and a net pension liability of about 600,000. Next, I'll go to your OPEB liability. So this is related to post-employment health care benefits, and the liability for that was about 2.7 million.
What page are you on now?
Page 37, note 11. Sorry if I'm going too fast.
Yeah, just a little bit you are.
Sorry.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Just one final thing with the footnotes. In the supplementary section of the report on page 42, we have the budget to actual schedule for the general fund. And just to point out some major things, the final budgeted revenues in 2024 was about 8 million, and your actual revenues was 8.1 million for the general fund, and total budgeted expenditures was 8.2 million, and actual expenditures was about 6.5 million. That's about all I had for the review of the financial statements and notes.
But I just want to thank Jane for all her assistance preparing these financial statements. We really had no really material journal entries or anything like that related to the financial audit. So, I mean, at this time, if you have any questions for us regarding the statements, we'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you.
Your second letter about the deficiency.
Yes.
Can you explain that a little bit?
So to have adequate controls over your financial process, it's good to have additional reviews over a lot of things and kind of segregate different operations within that. That would be also including the entering in of the financial data into your accounting system, QuickBooks. It would include the writing of the checks and the keeping of the check stock. The reconciling of your statements. All these are typically items that are separated out over larger entities. Being a smaller entity and having a smaller financial staff, it's kind of hard to do that. And we do recognize that and we do communicate that in the letter. But typically it's good to see all those separate duties kind of separated. And I would be happy to send you different tasks and different job performance things that you want to do that you want to kind of separate out across your typical entity. But like I said, as a board, if you continue to really participate in that review process, like you have your approval of your bills later on in the meeting, and just kind of reviewing anything that kind of comes across when it's financial wise, it's always good to continue to be involved in that financial process. Kind of helps mitigate that risk additionally.
Yeah, if you could send that list.
Absolutely. I can have it. I can send that to Jane tomorrow and have her forward it on to you guys.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Have you seen that before? I'm sorry? Have you seen that list before? You mentioned? Okay.
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 All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on with new business. Looking for a motion to approve the 2025 budgeted funds in the amount of $15,000 to the Redland Library.
I'll make that motion to approve 15,000 to Redland Library.
Looking for a second?
I'll second.
Questions or concerns? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next, I'm looking for the approval for an advertisement for the Grandview Drive truck restriction ordinance. A little bit of background on this. We had a complaint on trucks using that road. Our neighboring township to the south has posted all their roads, and in the process of doing all that, we're getting truck traffic because they don't want to get citations down there. Well, we're going to give them citations up here. So that's what that's about. So I'm looking for a motion to do that advertising.
I'll make a motion to advertise. The
Second.
truck.
I'll second that.
All in favor, or questions or concerns? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next, the police MOU, partial health insurance opt-out option for approval. Aaron?
Yes, previously, in order to opt out of insurance and to get a little bit of a pay for it, you had to not claim anything. We decided that if someone just wanted to claim vision and dental, they could still qualify for the option for the payout for not taking the regular health insurance. And to make it fair, what we are doing is whatever that payment would be towards them, we are deducting the actual cost to the township for the vision and dental from that number. So if they got $500 to opt out of health insurance, and it costs us $86 for the coverage for
That would come
health,
out of that 500.
that would come out of that 500, and they wouldn't receive it.
Looking
But
for
we're
that-
still saving the fact that we're not.
Yeah.
In other words, they could sign up for health insurance just for the dental and vision, but they would also take the medical at an exuberant cost to us just for the vision and dental. So that's why we're trying to allow them to do this instead.
So they're actually paying it themselves, most.
Correct. They're paying for
Basically,
themselves.
yeah.
Yeah. Because they have medical coverage through a spouse or
Yeah.
somewhere else.
Looking for that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Looking for a second?
I'll second it.
Questions or concerns? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Looking for a motion to remove First Capital Engineering as a township SEO with the stipulation that the current projects that they're working on to be completed by First Capital.
I'll make that motion.
Looking for a second?
I'll second that motion.
Questions or concerns? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Looking for a motion to appoint Brant Fink Jr. as the Township Sewer Enforcement Officer.
I'll make a motion to appoint Brant Fink Jr., SEO.
Looking for a second?
I'll second that motion.
Questions or concerns?
Do we have like a pay schedule for him?
Yeah,
It's pretty much the same thing Gary was doing?
Pretty much, yeah.
it's a little bit more than Gary's, but it's similar.
Yeah, it was, okay.
Okay, well, any more questions or concerns? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I'm looking for a motion to approve the advertisement of ordinance 435 to amendment to the recreation ordinance.
It's now called Parks and Recreation.
So that's the entire amendment?
Yes.
Name change?
I need,
Yes.
I need a motion to do that.
I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance 435 to amend the recreation ordinance.
Looking for a second?
I think James wants to say something.
You can second it, but,
I'll second that.
so you're approving for advertisement, you're not approving the ordinance.
Right, this is just the advertising.
Correct. And you did add the vice chair role to the advertisement in the
Thank you, we
ordinance?
did.
Yes.
We're adding the vice chair
Yes.
to the ordinance as well. Thank you.
So, yeah, we would advertise and then it would be up for adoption at the next meeting.
And then we can approve that vice chair at our next Parks and Recs meeting. 2 meetings from now.
Yeah, 2 meetings from now you can do it.
Assuming that it gets adopted, yes.
Yes, okay.
Any more questions or concerns? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Discussion and vote for an open market at Shelley Park and food truck events for the committee.
Yeah, Events Committee is looking to start bringing the community together, very similar to what we did for Veterans Day, for our Christmas celebration here, what we tried to do at the Spring May event. We are also going to start looking to do an open market 1 day a week at Shelley's Park for, every Thursday from, I think it's 12 o'clock to 7 o'clock, I believe is what we have down. So that's going to be every Thursday, and then we're going to also do food trucks. And we're going to bring a food truck here 1 day a week in our parking lot. And just, again, for lunch, try and get the community to come out and socialize and be a part of the township.
So the food truck will be here or up there?
It'll be here.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion for that.
I'll make a motion. We approve an open market at Shelley's Park and a food truck
I'll second that.
for the events.
Any concerns or questions?
Diana, we talked about it a little bit, and my concern was taking business away from the brick and mortar places in the township. I'm okay with it being events that you have, but having a place just for food trucks, it seems it takes away from everybody else in the township. I mean, it's my opinion. You know, I mean, we already have a farmer's market in our township. We should be supporting them instead of trying to make another one.
But these are all farmers coming in, selling their produce.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't support other farmers?
Yes, we can do it back at the racetrack, back at the farmer's market back there. And how much are we charging people?
Nothing.
It's all free?
It's all free.
Okay.
Any more questions or concerns?
My only concern, I mean, I'm happy we're gonna have food trucks out there once a week. You know, I'm more concerned about the guys that are stationed full-time with food trucks and bringing someone in once a week. But my only concern, and you know, I've mentioned it, is whether this is the best place here outside the building. That's my only concern.
Yeah, you got police cars rolling out of here, you got ambulances rolling.
I mean, I would just like to have some thought put into maybe talking up to the Newberry Shopping Center to see if we could do it up there, if it
The problem is
doesn't
we're
pan out.
interfering with some of the restaurants up there.
Yeah.
We
I
had
mean,
that discussion.
Okay,
Yeah.
but I mean, that's,
Until we have our own property, this is our property. That's our.
Steve, do you
That's
see a
why I
problem?
talked to
Do you see a problem with the parking lot?
I spoke to Diane earlier today. We came up with a game plan that if, for the first event, to see how it works out. You don't know until you try it, if we're gonna have issues or if we're not. Typically during business hours on a regular week, if there's not training in here or some type of special event within this particular room, I don't see that there's gonna be an issue if the food truck parks over in that location that we spoke about earlier today. We will see firsthand on a particular week, I believe in June, if the food truck is here when we have a large training at this facility, and make a determination from there, whether it's a good place or if we need to like drop back and move it to a different location. That we don't, I mean, I can't tell you until we actually see how many people are going to show up and if anyone's going to show up, and you know, if there's training out here, if it's going to impede traffic, whatever. It's definitely wherever we spoke about going to allow us access to the back as well as an egress point for the EMS. So we're not going to block any of that stuff. That was our main concern. But until we try it, I really can't give you an educated answer.
Okay.
Any more questions or concerns? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
Opposed.
Okay, next I'm looking for a motion or to approve resolution 2025-25, transferring $2 million from ANC NB Bank, formerly Traditions. Where's that going, Jane?
I'll make that motion.
Plug it, okay. Okay, looking for a second.
I'll second that.
Questions or concerns?
So it's going, is this an interest-bearing account or what kind of account?
Wow. Wow. I agree.
Okay.
Good.
All right.
Any more questions or concerns? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thanks, Jane.
Next, I'm looking for a motion on the Pleasant Drive Bridge payment application. Mr. Rudy.
Yeah, this is payment application number 1. It's for $20,193.61. They started to do things like clearing and grubbing and the major submittals for the box culvert, and that's under construction. So we're expecting the box to be delivered on July 10th at this time.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion to make that payment.
I'll make the motion.
Second,
I'll second that.
questions or concerns? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Bid results to upgrade project for the generator upgrade project at the treatment plant. Mr. Rudy?
Yeah, so we had 5 bids for the generator work and generator replacement down at the wastewater treatment plant. Manada Electric out of Hershey was the low bidder at $299,204.17. So I'm looking for the board to award that contract tonight to Manada Electric.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion to award that bid to Manada Hill Electric.
I'll make that motion.
Looking for a second.
I'll second that motion.
Questions or concerns?
Is it bigger than what we have here, Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's much bigger?
Yeah, what is the one here? 150, I think, or something? This is 300 kW down there.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's covering all the pumps and everything.
Yeah, it's to run the treatment plant.
Okay.
It's replacing 2 generators.
Okay.
Any other questions or concerns?
And Dave, this is the one that the original grant for the generator here for the EMS, that didn't qualify because it wasn't bid out, that we were able to rescope that grant money to the sewer treatment plant generator.
Cool.
So we're still able to use it.
Okay. Questions or concerns? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
What, before you go, yeah, Brent, do you have any interest in looking at that generator I was telling you about last month? So I'll get a hold of you. Okay.
Okay, I'm looking for the motion to approve the advertisement of ordinance 436, amendment to chapter 52 of the manager's bond.
I'll make a motion we approve to advertise the ordinance for the amendment for the chapter 52 manager's bond.
I'll second that.
Yeah.
Questions or concerns?
We're moving it from, what, 10,000 to $1 million, correct?
Yes. Well, it's advertised. We'll get it next month.
To $1 million. My biggest concern is we have a lot more than $1 million in our savings in banks. I mean, I don't buy a new car for $70,000 and have it insured for $20,000. So why are we getting a bond for only $1 million when we have much more in that, in the sewer plant, which they have their hands in that, and the money we have in our banks and savings? Am I wrong about that, James, or? I mean, $1 million don't cover much.
Well, the language in the ordinance says it's a minimum of $1 million. You can set the amount at whatever you would like.
What does state say? Is there any
You
kind
can
of?
set it at any amount you want.
Any amount
That's
you want?
second class down. You just have to have a bond in place. $1 million is what's used by other townships as a baseline. It's not a cap. It's a floor on what you can set. So when you're negotiating a contract for another township manager, you just have to start at the $1 million level, and then you can go up from there. So
Do we get any quotes for different bonds? One for $1 million, maybe one for $10 million?
it's dictated by the credit of the individual.
You mean as whoever's getting the bond too?
So, I mean, you could set it out, you can make it as high as you want, but again, it becomes cost prohibitive at some point in time for the township to do that. I mean, but again, that's part of the negotiation. Whenever you hire a manager, you can put it in the letter, but it's got to start at, per the ordinance, if this ordinance is adopted, it starts at a floor of $1 million. If you want to put $3 million or $5 million in your manager contract, you can certainly do that.
Does anybody understand where I'm coming from with that? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I do, just so everyone's aware that they're required to be bonded, but the township still pays for the bond.
Correct.
So, I mean, if it's $1 million, I'm not, I don't know if the figures are exact, but if it's $1 million, it might cost $800 a year. If it's 10 million, it might cost
10 times.
Well, it probably wouldn't cost 10 times that, but it's going to cost at least 5 times that, I would think.
Yeah. I mean, the possibility of that ever happening is pretty slim, but it could happen.
I mean, there are a lot of safeguards in place. You know, if Jane does any transfers through the bank, any large amounts, it needs second authorization. She just can't overtly move money without someone signing in to authorize that transfer of funds. Plus, every supervisor, we got to get 2 signatures on every check we disperse as well. I mean, there are a lot of safeguards. I think it would be pretty darn difficult to go through $1 million and not even notice it.
I mean, it's certainly possible. It's a good question. I mean, I agree with you. But I think what he said, if we started at $1 million, and
So
we
start at $1 million, we're gonna vote on starting at $1 million in case we,
it cleans up.
Stuck at $1 million?
It cleans up
It
the
fixes the-
mess of
fix-
being 10,000.
No,
Yeah, it fixes the
it's a
problem.
floor.
Yeah.
It's not, you're not required to make it, you start at $1 million.
Okay.
And if you're as you're talking with whomever it is, if you want to say, we're going to require the new manager to have a $3 million bond, then that's what you have. But the language is put in there specifically to say it's a floor, not a
Okay,
not a
gotcha.
cap on the amount.
Did I get a motion for that yet?
I think
don't
you have
know.
a motion in a
Okay.
second.
Any more questions or concerns on that? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Dave.
Just to approve to advertise.
This
wanna
is
make
just
sure
the
that-
advertisement. Yes, Jane?
Thank you.
James, I have to be bonded also. Is this just considered a manager's bond or a manager?
You're already bonded for $1 million, am I correct?
Correct, but I'm asking for that, while you're covering the advertisement, will the advertisement cover both positions?
This is just the manager's bond.
Is there an ordinance for that, for maybe have it required to be bonded?
Yes.
I'll have to go look. I don't know what the level is set for the assistant treasurer or treasurer. Yes.
I was just questioning, so I thought while you were advertising, it would be good.
Because there's a specific provision in the second class township code for the manager that we have to address in the ordinance.
And then there'll be one of them, because they should almost be equal, because to be honest with you, everybody has equal
Access.
responsibility.
Yeah.
So we'll check into that. We'll check into that. If we have to change that, we will.
Okay, I'm looking for, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that's done. Okay, authorization to advertise for sealed bids for solid waste hauling services for the sewer department. Aaron, do you want to go over that quickly?
We're gonna have to table this. I'm not quite ready.
Okay.
On that, we still gotta get some things together to actually do the official advertisement. Basically, they increased our tonnage from, what was it, $86 a ton to $150 a ton.
They made a mistake on it and.
No,
No.
no.
It wasn't a
What they're
mistake.
charging us.
Yeah.
That's what they're charging
And
us.
we're searching for their contract, and they can't seem to provide one right now for waste management.
Can that be discussed with the PUC? I'm sure they're
No.
regulated from
No.
that.
No.
They're not.
There's no regulation for that.
Trash.
Okay.
Okay,
We've
So-
seen that a lot of municipalities or authorities that rate has been raised over the last couple of years.
Yeah,
okay, so I'm looking to, we'll just table this till next month?
Okay.
correct.
Okay, we're down to that part in the meeting where I'm looking for a motion to pay the bills.
I'll make that motion to pay the bills.
Looking for a second.
I'll second that.
Questions or concerns? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion we adjourn.
I'll second it.
Questions or concerns? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Meeting's adjourned.